that's an interesting question. I think in the whole of the last few days that we've been in Davos, there's been a lot of doom and gloom, fear of protectionism, fear that the world trading system is looking inward, and things like that. So I think we should be grateful that in ASEAN, we are relatively optimistic that there is progress going on. I say that this is maybe the only game in town at the moment. ASEAN economic community progressing, as well as the widening of ASEAN with the RCEP. So having 6 more countries join the free trade agreement. And you know, it's kind of ironical because a lot of times there's a lot of criticism about how slow ASEAN is progressing or how slow RCEP is progressing. But in today's context, actually, we are the only one progressing. So there's room for optimism that actually in the ASEAN way, where there is a lot of consultation, consensus, it's slow, but it hasn't led to us kind of going in different directions. We're still united, and we're still pushing forward. And in the history of ASEAN, normally what happens is that we're slow, we have long deadline, but then something happens, a crisis or an event perpetuates you to go faster. It's happened a few times. When we first created AEC, the deadline was 2020 because everybody's so cautious and careful. But then it was accelerated to 2015, right? So while we look like we're going slow, at the right point, I'm still optimistic that we will be continuing to be opening up, and I think the leaders here will agree that in general ASEAN is still about openness, because that has been the stalwart of our development. And it's different from what's happening in the US or in Europe, where there's a backlash against globalization. Our issue is more like what the Prime Minister was saying. It's all about inequity and uneven development, which can be addressed in the context of the openness and the economic integration. Just have to make sure that you have the right policies. And the final thing I would say is that we all say this, but I would repeat it again, that the greatest value of ASEAN is the peace that it's brought in the region, and the kind of the camaraderie that exists between the leaders and between the policymakers, and I would say between the business people as well. And that's intangible. You can't really measure it the way you measure, okay, how much has tariffs gone down, how much has trade increased with each other.
So you think this whole approach of consensus, you think that's the right approach, and it's not just an excuse for us to get us to think that we are actually making progress and to hide our differences?
No, I think it's we sometimes criticize it as the fact that then you go to the lowest denominator, you go with the slowest or the most conservative or the most careful. But in fact, I think in the ASEAN formula, we did originally begin with consensus and interpreted it as 100% consensus. But in recent times, we've interpreted it more flexibly, that you can have a minus X principle, we call it, where there are cases, not very often, where you can't get everybody to agree on I can only say on the trade side, you couldn't agree on everything, and 1 or 2 members will opt out while the rest continues. And then a few years down the road, the ones who opted out can come back in with some negotiation involved, but you can still make it work. So I think I would say that ASEAN way is consensus, consultation, but we're also practical and creative in the way we can ensure some flexibility so that we can still move forward. I think that's the main learning experience from ASEAN, I would say, in the last 10, 15 years, that at least that I have experienced myself.
Thank you. Dr. Nazir, you've built a truly ASEAN business. CIMB has operations in almost all the markets in ASEAN. What has been your reflections of doing that over the last decade?
Thank you, John. I mean, I think the first thing, let me caveat everything I say today with this, that we are huge fans of ASEAN. We're big believers. In 2007, when the ASEAN Charter came out talking about the establishment of an ASEAN economic community, we went full throttle to build a ASEAN business. We even have a tagline called ASEAN which you will see in most airports around the region. So sometimes I can get a bit, vocal or frustrated about the pace, simply because we're probably more committed than anyone else to the regional integration course. Yeah. The experience from a people standpoint has been extremely positive. Building this business across the region, I see how my people come together, work as teams fantastically well. When you talk about diversity, ASEAN is very diverse, but that's the beauty of ASEAN. For instance, the service levels of my branches in Indonesia are very good. So I get the Indonesian branches to teach the Malaysian branches about service, for instance. And the other thing I would say is, in building a regional business, you cannot take it for granted either. So a lot of work has to be done to kind of create this sense of common identity, as in you're part of an ASEAN business. And here I draw some parallels to the kind of lack of activity to build the community across the region as a whole. We have sort of the CIMB ASEAN Games, the CIMB Idol across ASEAN, many programs to bring our people together so that they feel a sense of community. And the last point, John, is this, that as you build up, you need to kind of have patience, yeah, because ASEAN does tend to promise a bit too much.